Every day when we come home, we have to do this. Every time we go outside to take out the garbage, every time we try to go to bed at night, we have to keep it like this so nobody can kick in the door.
That is not how you're supposed to be living in your home that you're paying monthly expenses to live in. That's not fair that you have to go through these great lengths like such in order just to protect, your valuables, man. You should be able to live in a community where you're safe. You should be able to buy a home and treat it as such, not treat it as some sort of security protocol. But that's exactly what's happening inside of Kamala and Biden's America. This is exactly what we're seeing right here. So what y'all just watched was migrant mobs. Somebody speaking about what's going on in Colorado City. This took place in Colorado City. The migrant mobs is taking it over. And if she wins, it's definitely coming to the city. And we got President Trump who's trying to send these people home. I don't understand it. Somebody says the FBI sent out warning 6 months ago. The governors and mayors got the memo. They know and have known, but failed to warn citizens. Of course, they're not going to warn those citizens, man. Of course not. Why would they do that? Somebody said Trump is my POTUS. The hinges are not reinforced. Somebody said, in reference to the video, I hope she put long screws in the hinges. Somebody said, okay, yeah, because that thing can still get kicked off the hinges for sure. So the citizens are now the imprisoned and the criminals are the free ones, okay? Welcome to Democrat America. That's definitely what this is turning into. Now, Donald Trump recently spoke about this. He was in Washington, D.C., and he spoke on Venezuelan migrant gangs specifically, Welcome with Open Arms by Kamala Harris, and how they are literally taking over entire apartment complexes in Aurora, Colorado. Let's check this out.
And you see what's going on in Colorado. I don't know if anybody got to see Aurora. I mean, they're taking over the city. They're taking over apartment complexes. These are young, very tough people. These are tough. They make our criminals look nice. That's the only thing good about them. Our criminals are like nice people by comparison. And if you saw the Colorado thing, and this is happening all over, just not Colorado, but the Colorado thing caught the imagination because there were many of them with the biggest weapons that you've ever seen. And these came from Venezuela, which is emptying out all of its criminals.
Yeah, we seen it. I mean, so like I said, I've been seeing the clips all online popping up all over the internet of, I don't want to show it on here because they had guns and everything drawn and all that. But yeah, somebody says Colorado used to be such a beautiful place. Been there once, gorgeous. I was definitely there once. I had an opportunity to go out there and create some content with my guy Atlas. Shout out to Atlas. He's a country singer. So shout out to my dog, and we went out there and we had a really good time. But as Trump points out, the migrant gangs are welcomed by the likes of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. And it's now wreaking havoc around the country, everywhere, every city, man. We got violent prisoners being released from Venezuelan prisons, dumping over, to here in the U.S. And man, this has been pushed down our throats. Donald Trump is the only guy I've been seeing say, well, not only him. You even have Democrat people saying, like, look, bro, I can't get with this policy. We need to go ahead and fix this. And it looked like Donald Trump is the one to do it. Now, here's a clip that I can show you of one of the apartment buildings in Colorado, then several in Denver. Somebody said next, the suburbs of Topeka, then some farms in Oklahoma. Yes, all these places are being, taken over by these migrants. I'm here in Chicago right now, and wow. I'll just say every time I go to Walmart, I'll just say that. Voting for Kamala is voting for the spread of violent migrant gangs throughout the interior of the U.S. Let's check this clip out.
I've seen at several of these complexes now, they've spray painted Venezuela all over the buildings. There are broken windows. There's trash everywhere. It's really a grim scene at these apartment complexes. And, what you see at any given time is men, and I've really only seen men, walking around with guns. They are actively patrolling these properties. They have completely taken them over. They have beaten up any staff that was on site of these complexes. They have beaten them up. So there is no staff. It is absolutely these gang members controlling these apartment complexes. And, yesterday I made sure to go in with several police officers helping and watching. But I'll tell you what, before I even had this family completely moved out of their apartment, these folks were already fighting over this apartment complex, and they were starting to move stuff in before we had even completely moved this family out.
This doesn't make sense to me. It don't make sense to me. Somebody help me out, because I'm having a hard time understanding this. Why hold on, let me ponder what I'm trying to say real quick. I don't get why a sanctuary city that openly states that they will not enforce federal law is not being tried for something like RICO, right? Like, that's not a RICO case or a state. The governor in the sanctuary city may it sound like they are running a huge grift for these federal dollars. Oh, I'm gonna say any home, bro. Like, what is the plan? What is the reasoning? Why are they allowing this to happen? And that's when it becomes super sinister. The migrant crisis is taking over Colorado. We already talked about Aurora, I can't say that, in Denver, but also the entire United States as well. But we want Kamala in the office, right?
This video needs to go viral immediately. What's going on in Colorado, especially in Denver and Aurora, and all across the United States with this migrant crisis needs so much more attention on it, especially with the gang Nicaragua. Especially considering that allegedly a Nicaragua leader gave the green light quotations to its members to shoot police officers in Denver, Colorado alone. I mean, allegedly Aurora alone has become a base of operations for that gang, which has seized multiple apartment complexes and set off a wave of violent crime. And supposedly Denver leads the nation in new migrant arrivals, with more than 40,000 arriving from the southern border since December of 2022. And reportedly the city has bent over backwards to provide aid, even slashing emergency services to help foot the cost, so far estimated at over $68 million and counting. One local gang member allegedly decided to set up shop in town as well. And within months of arriving in the US, cops supposedly said that he and fellow gang members brutally beat a man at Aurora apartment complex that the gang took over and occupied. And this is the interesting thing that seems to be a trend. In July, cops arrested him again, this time for shooting at the same complex that left 2 men also wounded. And members of Nicaragua are accused of a slew of violent crimes across the United States, including murdering Georgia nursing student Laken Riley earlier this year, and shooting of 2 NYPD cops during an arrest in June. And supposedly when this gang leader crossed the southern border in 2022 into Texas, he was vetted by federal border authorities who didn't see anything concerning about his past, and then released. He told Border Patrol agents he was going to New York, but ended up at an ICE office in Colorado in June of 2023 when he was given a court date and again was cut loose. And then soon after, allegedly, he started unleashing havoc on the community again. And let's keep in mind, this comes after allegedly the Democratic Party's 2024 platform endorses a bill that would create a pathway for illegal immigrants to become, in quotations, lawful prospective immigrants who would be issued IDs and social security numbers and be able to vote and join the US military. But not just that, the bill would also allow people already deported under the Trump administration but not the Obama administration to come back by applying for the new legalized status if they had lived in the United States for at least 3 years. You know, that's really interesting that they mentioned social security numbers, because apparently every single American social security number was just leaked. But nobody wants to blame Kamala Harris? I'm confused. But supposedly the Aurora Police Department announced Monday that it's joining forces with the Colorado State Patrol and Colorado Bureau of Investigation to create a special task force to address the city's concerns about the Venezuelan gang Nicaragua. Especially because a federal grand jury in the District of Colorado indicted 4 Venezuelan nationals linked to the gang on Wednesday for their role in the armed robbery of a family-owned jewelry store in Denver in June. And then you have that allegedly they have deep ties with Venezuela's socialist regime, and that it's expanded its presence and criminal activities across several U.S. cities in recent years as more of its members continue to enter the United States. U.S. authorities have reportedly confirmed the gang's presence in Miami, New York, Chicago, and Atlanta. And police officials from Dallas, Texas announced this week alone that criminal activities linked to the gang have been detected in the northern area of the city as well. So they are being reported to have territory all across the United States. Not that I have a political stance, but people are still somehow going to find a reason to blame Trump, as if his administration didn't propose building a border wall. But it gets worse. Nicaragua's growing list of criminal activities in the United States range from violent cell phone robbery schemes in New York to a now dismantled sex trafficking network in Louisiana that reportedly smuggled its victims to the United States after teaching them how to request asylum at the U.S. southern border. And allegedly the gang members forced the victims into prostitution to pay for the debt accrued from smuggling them into the United States. Kamala Harris was the border czar for 3.5 years, and what did she do? It's so confusing to say that you're pledging to protect women's rights, but then you allow these gangs to come into the United States, putting women in danger. It doesn't make any sense. And then you have shit like this. Allegedly, that gang leader that I just told you about had been ordered deported by an immigration judge last week. But because he's from Venezuela, a country that doesn't accept deportations from the US, he is likely here to stay. And supposedly Trinidad has been sneaking members into the US via the southern border for years. And that it's also reportedly started recruiting within the US among migrant communities, mainly in New York, Denver, and Chicago as well. And ironically, if you just so happen to look at every single individual that crossed over the border since last year, a majority of them look like military-age men. And Kamala Harris doesn't seem to be mentioning this at all. But then again, why would she, right?
Now, the new question I have is, how is it that somebody who's not a citizen here can get arrested and not face the deportation? I don't know. How would you allow this individual to continue to gain their entry to this country? Don't know. Make it make sense. That was the first comment up on here that I just read, actually. They're busing in the leftover Denver migrants to Colorado as well. It's only a matter of time, somebody says, before all hell breaks loose. Yeah, if Trump doesn't win, this country is screwed, bro. It's just what it is, okay? Somebody says, in response to the person who posted this, it goes, about to unfollow. Nobody cares what political side you take. Just keep spreading the truth without picking a side. They both suck.
This video,
yeah, I mean, you're gonna have the pros and cons on each side. I'm not gonna act like just, every one side has no blemishes in comparison to the other, anything like that. It's definitely not the case. But somebody says, no such position as voter czar. Republican talking point, she was asked to lead diplomatic efforts. And okay, yeah, now we got some haters in here. Anyhow, the migrant crisis here, where I'm at right now, I'm visiting, which, by the way, if you are in Chicago, reach back out to your boy. We might go grab a drink or something, top it up, and possibly discuss some of the things that I can cover while I'm out here. I'd love to try to get some content outside of just sitting in front of the screen, grab my camera. Well, I won't even do that. If I'm being honest, I'll just take my phone and use that as the camera, because the way things going these days. Yeah, just take that and we go out, man. We just go ask some people some questions, or if there's some sort of political event that I'm not aware of while I'm here, let me know. But the migrant crisis here in Chicago has now contributed to over $1 billion budget deficit on Mayor Brandon Johnson's watch, right after Kamala, whatever, left the DNC, the Democratic National Catastrophe.
Mayor Brandon Johnson says the hefty deficit is a reflection of the city's ongoing revenue challenges and rising costs. The $982.4 million shortfall for 2025 is attributed to increasing labor costs, a decrease in revenue from state corporate taxes, higher costs for city employee pensions and personnel expenses, $150 million allocation for ongoing migrant support, and the uncertainty surrounding the $175 million payment for CPS pension.
Let me tell you something. These people is playing in y'all face. They've been playing in y'all face for a long time, and I told y'all, and I've been having this conversation with y'all for an extended period of time, and I said it. I said, listen, I know you think that this is good and y'all want to vote based off of diversity, equity, and inclusion, but they absolutely are going to overrun your city. And now Chicago is going the same way as New York, and that they have a $1 billion budget deficit. $1 billion in a deficit. And see, what they want to say is they're going to frame it like this. They're going to say, listen, we got a $150 million deficit that's contributing to the $1 billion deficit that is happening as far as the migrant crisis. But what they're not going to tell you is that they've already allocated $400 to $500 million a year towards the migrant crisis. And so that's what they're over. So they're probably closer to $700 million over as far as the budget deficit. And then over in Cook County, they'll come over here and then they'll raise your property taxes 86%. They playing in your faces. And this is what happened when you vote based off of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now you got a school teacher that ain't even been in an office since Lori Lightfoot came out of office for a whole year. And right after the Democratic National Convention, right after Kamala Harris leaves, they already got a budget deficit. And part of it is because of the migrant crisis. You're going to be the ones to pay for it. They're taking it away from your communities. And we don't want to have the uncomfortable conversation. And y'all keep saying vote based off of identity politics, vote blue no matter what. But I'm trying to tell you that they plan in your face, and they ultimately going to turn your city into bankruptcy. And they're going to turn it into Oakland, because Oakland, I believe, is going to be the next major city to file for bankruptcy. But they plan in y'all faces. Y'all not really paying attention. Y'all better wake up. Come on, black people. Wake up, wake up, wake up. They done already sold y'all streets. Chicago don't even own its own streets. His official statement is, well, here, I'll just let her read it to you and then we'll come back and have a conversation.
Solutions that balance fiscal responsibility with our obligation to invest in the people of Chicago. Together, we will ensure our budget reflects the values of equity, fairness, and shared prosperity.
They still talking about equity, fairness. That's diversity, equity, and inclusion. That is a summary for diversity, equity, and inclusion. I'm trying to, man, if y'all don't wake up and get off of this Democratic plantation, and y'all got a school teacher that got a mohawk that's literally running y'all city into the ground, God bless y'all. Y'all deserve you deserve everything that you're going to get based off of how you vote.
That man said it's so perfect. You deserve it. If you're going to keep voting in that direction, man, I mean, come on. Ain't nobody going to feel sorry for you. It's not the victim Olympics. Oh, I did this and I'm so sorry for myself. Nah, man. Somebody says they're not going to vote, for Trump and assist Stephen Miller and Russell vault to usher in white Christian nationalism. Project 2025 is real, and if implemented, the price of groceries and property taxes will be the last of our worries. Holding off dictatorship is my concern. Mind you, oh my gosh, I ain't gonna tell y'all who this woman is, but everything that it's been debunked, bro. People, wow. I don't know, man. It's been debunked. I don't see how. I don't know. Anyhow, somebody says Project 2025 right up under it again. Let's have them from Chicago. Can you provide proof that this issue leads to increased property taxes? What is happening under this man's post? What is the comment section is not passing the vibe check. I'm gonna say that. We black people need to worry about abortions, migrants, small government, white people, feelings and thoughts. What? Somebody said, can't be true. Democrats are looking out for black folks. Just ask them. My brain can't take this. It can't.